All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. We finally got the big earnings after the bell, and it was very surprising. So we got Netflix, we have Tesla, and the earnings were not a surprise in the sense that they went crazy and everybody's freaking out like they did last earnings season over AI. But what is surprising is what we've been talking about. Both of these companies generally did well and they beat, but now they are both down. So Tesla, they did a lot better. It was pretty much a beat across the board. The margins came in slightly below the expectations, but after the amount of cars they sold, people generally liked it. This spin on the Tesla earnings was that even after all of the price cuts, they were still able to grow and kind of hold that dominance. So Tesla is still down. Granted, we've talked about the $100 move leading into it, but now Netflix, this is where it gets really interesting because they added almost 6 million new subscribers. The estimate was 2 million. They even raised their guidance in certain areas as far as margin. They said that they're going to have a growth in margin, even the free cash flow and their pickup they're expecting. There was a lot of good things, but why didn't it go up? Because their revenue missed for this quarter, and then even though they had good things they guided for next quarter, like operating profit and margin, the revenue was still guided below expectation. So even after the conference call, even with Tesla, nothing has really moved it too much. We're going to hear from the analysts, but I think this could be our first clue. Doesn't mean it will stay like this, but the whole idea of this massive pre-earnings run-up kind of being too big, we might see that play out. So everything could change by tomorrow and even Friday, but that's where we are at now. And then United Airlines, they killed it on earnings. So I think travel will do good, but UAL, like they beat on EPS, full year, guided up on the full year, EPS, revenue, passenger miles. It was a all-around beat. So they were good. Even Zion, I think they did a lot better than expected, even compared to the regionals. Definitely did not show those same problems or anywhere near any of the problems as some of the other ones. So they even went up, but so far the earnings have been good. The banks in the morning too didn't shock or surprise anybody, even though Goldman Sachs did awful. And now we are going to close out this week. Got a little bit of data tomorrow, and then it's the big dogs and pals. So Chad, that's the breakdown. Like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and I hope you know we're live Monday through Friday, youtube.com/the stock market. But now, as far as everything else and what we're getting into, I think it's going to be very simple. There's going to be a lot of these post-earning plays. Watch the Tesla, watch the Netflix, and now the schedule tomorrow. That's going to be our last day to really react in the morning. As part of even today, if you didn't notice, there was a gap up, and it affected the bonds a lot, and this should even play out even into the yen. There was even more bearish comments about policy on the yen today. That's why it went down a little, but also the currencies, the pound had a big move because the UK inflation, that dropped, and last time we had a drop, everybody bought bonds. People like that in terms of this higher rates ending. Inflation dropping is good for that. So that's what we got in the morning. That was the big driver. None of the earnings surprised. Again, even though Goldman did bad, everybody was kind of feeling good and the banks kept doing their thing. There was Apple news and we made a play on it. Apple got into the generative AI. They announced Apple GPT, but there was a report that it's pretty much just a copy of Baird and all of that. We kind of had a Microsoft effect, but then it faded because Microsoft said they're going to make like almost $1 trillion or something. Now it was crazy. It's crazy, but that's all we got today. There was all of it, and now the earnings after the bell. You're even watching Netflix still go down here a little bit. I think these are going to be placed tomorrow, and now for the data, all you're going to be getting is the Philly Fed and a couple of real estate data points, and that's one thing to kind of bring up here. All of the real estate data or all of the economic data in the last week or so is surprised. Pretty big to the downside, but we are in that earnings mode and focusing on a lot of different things. But as far as what we're going to be getting tomorrow, Philly Fed, existing home sales, bond auction, and that will be it. And Friday, there's nothing. And then it's all digesting these earnings. You're going to get AXP after the bell on Friday or before the bell on Friday. Today, Discover, they even had an issue with like reporting, but we're going to digest all of that. Then it's the big dogs, like the biggest of tech and Powell next week. And by then, we should have a grasp of where we're going, because then it'll be the end of July into August. We got the Powell, and then we're going to know if we really paused or not. So now let us get into the play. So that's what we had today. Again, all earnings mode. You could even see it in the market today. We did that chill out day, but now as far as the plays, I have a couple. So Netflix, I closed that today very luckily, but I wish I held it. Now you see, but if you remember, I took that short yesterday. It just shot up after hours, went crazy, went down in the morning a little bit. I had an opportunity to close it. Then it bounced back up. I was down like $500, came back down like $1 a share. I walked away with like less than 40 bucks, just under that, but gonna be playing this tomorrow. I like the report. So we went over it there in the beginning. I like the subscriber numbers. I do think analysts will eventually kind of shift towards liking it, because a 6 million increase is big. The problem is they just ran up way too much with all of this. So I think there's going to be some digestion, but I'm definitely going to be looking to make a play. It does not have to be tomorrow though, and give it a little bit of time. Remember last earnings, we played Netflix. It took me a month to be profitable, but most of the move happened a little later, and now you got to get some of the jitters out. So that's the first play I'm going to be watching. The second play, and this is what I was talking about in the thumbnail if you saw it, RXRX. This is that squeeze play, or people are talking about it getting squeezed now. This was the play that NVIDIA invested into. Remember, they bought the shares at $6. It opened up. They made $50 million in one day. It came down. We have 300 shares at like $11.10. Now it is shooting up and breaking out. And what I did on it today is I sold a covered call. So I like it. I'm glad I actually held. Usually I would sell out way, way earlier. You guys, you know me a lot better, but I decided today to short the September $25 contracts. I sold 3 of them for $1 and pretty much agreed to sell my shares I bought at 11 at $25 when the stock is at 15. I got back $300. It pretty much lowers my cost basis by an additional $1 per share. So now until September, our cost basis is about $10. So I think this thing could still run. It does depend on the hype. And now even for a lot of these plays tomorrow, we got to see, is Netflix and Tesla going to get in the way, or will people get distracted with the other earnings in the morning and then ride through with everything else? So that's what I'm going to be looking for, but I think RXRX is very compelling, so going to be keeping my eye out for that. And then finally, I got to bring it up one more time, man. Corn. We are in this play. It went up again. I'm telling you just where we got it at, and even the speed of this move is very fast. I'm pretty sure I'm making more in 2 days than we did on like last year in the first month of playing some of those. So this is waking up a little bit. There were comments today from Putin regarding the grain deal saying he'd get back into it, but not until they accept his terms towards it, and that the United States wasn't following it. It added a little bit of relief, but this was all after there was even a limit up on wheat futures. So wheat futures shot up like 9-10% and got halted. So we're going to watch this tomorrow. I said yesterday, I'm ready to sell out. I'm glad I sold here today, and I think the next update is either going to make it pop up a little bit or go crazy, but I think either tomorrow or by Friday or Monday, I'm probably going to be exiting. However, I got to be monitoring. So right now, I'm still in the risky mode where, again, it's moving like 500 to 1,000 bucks a day on the play, and that is what I'm making or going to lose money on, is how these headlines come out, and there is going to be that lag and a little bit of manipulation, call it what you want, but I'm keeping that in mind. So I do want to keep it quicker, but I do like our positioning, and if this does start getting a little worse, you might start having it move crazier. But what I'm worried about is that the pace slows down, because this has already been extremely quick. So getting ready to close by the end of the week or Monday, but if there is any more developments that make me want to keep holding, we will keep riding it through. But that is play number 2 or 3. I think that was 2. No, that was play 3. But the last thing, I sold out of those root shares. Remember, they had the buyout. I thought it was a great arbitrage play. It finally popped up, but usually every high it didn't hold. This one held, and it was up like 10-12%. I walked away with like $1.4 thousand or 1.2, so I was down with it, got out of that one, and I wanted to make a play on BioMarin. I'm still holding that. I think I did those plays the same day. Kind of went up, and now it's almost near the average a little bit, down like $2 more. So gonna be watching those, gonna be playing some of the earnings. The banks have been good. Watch some of the travel plays tomorrow as well. Like I'm saying, like I'm hyped on UAL. That was a good one. I want to see if it has any carryover, but even then, if we do calm down, given the fact that Netflix and Tesla already chilled out, maybe we kind of chill out here, and then the mania and bigger reactions happen next week. Anything could happen, so I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I want you to know something. Are you ready? You're not scared of them. They scared of you. Oh, that's it. That's it, bro. I'm just saying, you got a lot more potential than you think. You got a little bit more power than you... That's it. I was trying not to be awkward. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to just say, woosah, get ready. The earnings snowball. It's about this going, Chad. It's going. It's in the summer before you know it. It's starting and ending at the same time. Is this a philo? I don't know. I'm just not even that crazy. Chad, I love you. I will see you in the morning, and let's go get the launch herbs, and you got to have this stamina, and there's still a lot. So let's see what happens tomorrow, but I love you. God bless you, and that's it. Horn. There's no awkward horn.